Most people don't listen to understand. They listen to reply, to defend, to fix, and mostly to win. But very few people listen to feel what the other person is feeling, and that is why conversations break down, why relationships quietly fall apart, why people walk away feeling unheard, even after talking for hours, because the most ignored skill in human connection is not speaking, it is listening. And this is not the ordinary listening, the polite nodding and waiting for your turn to talk. This is listening like a therapist. The skill. Nobody teaches you or probably taught how to speak. You were taught how to explain yourself, how to defend yourself, how to argue your point, how to respond quickly. But no one sat you down and taught you how to listen without interrupting it, without judging, trying to control the outcome. And yet this single skill determines whether people trust you, whether conflicts escalate, whether relationships survive, whether people feel safe around you. Listening is not passive. Listening is not silence. Listening is an active psychological skill. And therapists know this, not because they are smarter, not because they have special powers, but because they practice a different way of listening, one that most people completely ignore. Today, you're going to learn that skill. The biggest mistake people make when listening here is the truth most people don't realize. When someone is talking to you, your brain is not listening. It is preparing a response. You're already forming an opinion. You're already planning advice. You're already deciding whether you agree or disagree. And sometimes you interrupt before the person even finishes their sentence. Not because you are rude, not because you don't care, but because your mind believes that listening means solving the problem, giving the answer, fixing the situation. But therapists do something different. They resist the urge to fix. And that is the first skill. Skill 1, resist the urge to fix. Imagine someone says, "I feel overwhelmed. Everything is falling apart." Most people respond immediately, "Just relax. You'll be fine. Try to stay positive. Here's what you should do." But here's what therapists understand. Advice too early feels like dismissal. Because when someone is emotional, they are not looking for solutions first. They are looking to be understood. And when you rush to fix the problem, you send an invisible message. "I am uncomfortable with your feelings." So the person shuts down. Not because your advice was wrong, but because it came too soon. Listening like a therapist means you slow down. You stay present. You allow the emotion to exist. The power of reflection. This is one of the most powerful skills that therapists use, and it is surprisingly simple. Instead of giving advice, they reflect what they hear. Reflection means you repeat the meaning of what the person said in your own words. For example, person says, "I feel like nobody appreciates me at work." Therapist responds, "It sounds like you feel overlooked and unrecognized." That's it. No lecture, no correction, no solution, just understanding. And something remarkable happens. The person feels heard, not fixed, not judged, not corrected, heard. Reflection works because humans are emotional beings before logical beings. When your feelings are acknowledged, your nervous system relaxes, your defenses drop, your mind opens, and now you're ready to think clearly. This is why therapists listen first and advise later. Validation, the skill that builds trust. Validation does not mean agreeing. This is a mistake many people make. Validation simply means recognizing that the person's feelings make sense from their perspective. For example, instead of saying, "You're overreacting," you say, "I can understand why that would upset you." Notice the difference. One shuts the conversation down. The other keeps it open. Validation creates safety, and safety creates honesty. Understanding ambivalence. This is a concept therapists use all the time. Ambivalence means having mixed feelings about something, wanting change, but also fearing change. For example, someone might say, "I want to leave this job, but I'm scared I won't find another one." Most people respond, "Just quit. You'll figure it out." But therapists recognize the conflict, so they say, part of you wants to move on, and another part feels afraid. And suddenly the person feels understood, because their struggle has been named. Listening to understand, not to respond. This is the core of therapist listening. Most conversations fail because both people are trying to be heard, but no one is trying to understand. Listening like a therapist means you become curious. You ask questions. You slow the conversation down. Instead of saying, "That's not true," you ask, "What made you feel that way?" Instead of arguing, you explore. Instead of defending, you understand. And this changes everything. The silence. Most people fear. Silence makes people uncomfortable, so they fill it with words, advice, opinions, explanations. But therapists use silence as a tool, because silence gives the other person space to think, space to feel, space to process. Sometimes the most powerful response is not a sentence, it is a pause. The secret signals people miss. When you truly listen, you begin to notice things that others miss. The hesitation in someone's voice, the change in their tone, the emotion behind their words. Because communication is not just verbal, it is emotional. Listening like a therapist means you listen to feelings, not just sentences. Why this skill is so rare is because listening requires patience, and patience is uncomfortable. It requires humility, and humility is difficult. It requires emotional control, and emotional control takes practice. Most people would rather talk than listen. Most people would rather fix than understand. That is why this skill is rare, and that is why it is powerful. How this skill changes relationships. When people feel heard, arguments decrease, trust increases, connection deepens, conflict resolves faster, not because problems disappear, but because understanding replaces defensiveness. Listening like a therapist turns conversations into cooperation. The most important listening question is the one question therapists use more than any other. It is simple, but powerful. Tell me more. This question invites honesty. It signals interest. It shows patience. And it keeps the conversation alive. You don't need a psychology degree to listen like a therapist. You don't need special training. You don't need perfect words. You just need patience, presence, curiosity, empathy. Because the truth is, people don't remember what you said. They remember how you made them feel. And the greatest gift you can give someone is not advice, not solutions, not opinions, but your full attention. That is the most ignored skill. And the most powerful one is listening. Before you go, kindly drop a comment telling us your experiences and where you are watching from. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you on the next one.